record button. There we go.
Welcome. It's wonderful to have each of you here. You know, today is the 1-year anniversary of the George Floyd murder. And it's a time when we have to remember that peace begins with each of us, and that I'm so happy that I'm proud, I should say, that we have Police to Peace as a member of our club, and that all of us know the value of a life and the value of kindness. Today we did a special, I guess you could call it seminar on pathways to peace.
Pathways to Peace, right.
But we just did it on International Cities of Peace. And the learning that I got from Dennis Wong, Brian Berman, and David Wick, all members of this group. And eventually we'll have the video so that you can decide if you'd like to become a International City of Peace. I've got Pathways to Peace on my brain. It's just such a nice, wonderful thing to put in your mouth, pathways to peace. Just think about those words. If each of us kept pathways to peace in our life and in our brain, we might just become the peace somebody else needs. So with that, I'm going to ask our dear friend, Rudy Westervelt, who almost went fishing, but chose to be here instead. Rudy?
That wasn't quite the choice, but it happened. So Dee, good to see you on tonight as usual, and we know Carol's on with us from the desert. Emmanuel is promoting Guns, Bombs, and Violence, a love story. So he's trying to impress the world on why they're bad for us out there. Greg, good to see you tonight. You're in your normal lounge chair, looking good. Julie, how are you tonight? Thumbs up there. Sharon, great to see you. Looks like we might, we're going to be talking about the St. Petersburg project that they have over there with the chairs that create music in a symphony at our board meeting this next time, and seeing if we can support that project. It'd be really great over there, Sharon. So thanks for introducing us with that group. That's been fun meetings over there every month.
I'll be there next week.
There you go.
Week and a half. I'll be with you.
Okay, super. That's super. That's great. Mark Harbison, how are things in Hawaii? All good over there. Dick's up here. We're going to introduce him in a few minutes here as our speaker tonight on Youth Exchange. We're pretty excited about that. Brian, great to see you. Creating peace over in Ojai and helping Barbara hopefully get her city that's named after her, Santa Barbara, a city of peace. Bob, things good out in the desert in Cathedral City?
Very good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we shine out here.
There you go. You're in
Yeah, there's a
the
really
deep sunshine
wonderful
out there.
weather.
So you can have the energy bills this summer with your air conditioning. Oh,
That's true.
the
To
Let's
take
get
out of our
solar.
savings.
We have solar. That's the other
oh, there
way
you go. Yeah, solar's good.
into the world.
Yeah,
Who said that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Benad, thank you for joining us from India. And
Thank you for
Chandra,
having me.
thank you for joining us. Are you the current director over there? Unmute yourself, please.
I'm the vice chair for the region, actually. For
Okay,
zones,
and how about
4,
Chandra?
5, 6, 7. Chandra is the coordinator for Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Good to have you guys with us tonight. And we've got a project with India on a global grant working on a vision project over there with some vision centers. And we look forward to our continued connections together. David, always great to see you. He's eager to take reins July 1 here at the club. And Lisa's on creating peace in the world with our peace officers. And she follows
Hey.
David the following year. Peggy, great to see you. It's Africa Day, and she's got a good photo from Africa there behind her. Peter, how are you today?
Very well, thank you, Rudy.
Good. Michael Corbin's on with us. Anya, how are things up in the Bay Area?
Great.
Everything's great up there? Good. Emmanuel? Sunday. Oop, unmute yourself there a second. Young man.
Yes, what's going on?
We have two Emmanuels on here. You've got your
Yes,
counterpart
one
over
is,
here.
Emmanuel Sunday,
Emmanuel
my
Sunday.
brother.
Yeah, he's one of our brothers. Good to see you. Where are you from?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay, great. Thank you for joining us. Super to have you with us, Marilyn. Great to see you as always. And Scotty, why don't you unmute yourself there?
He's in the dark a little.
He's hiding in the dark. Scotty's there he is. How are you?
Sorry, it's so dark. I am well, my friend.
Good to have you on with us, and newest of the new members of our club, and another great peacemaker in his own right. So thank you for being part of our club.
It's an honor, and I'm looking forward to new ideas and new peace builder relationships.
No, that's super. That's super. We should work together on many projects here in the future. Belinda, great to see you. I'm sure it's pretty cool over in Desert Hot Springs.
Yucca Valley now.
Oh, Yucca Valley. I'm sorry. Temperature didn't change too much.
There. It is up there.
Catherine, how are things down under?
Excellent, thank you. And you'll notice I'm following Peggy and celebrating Africa Day.
There you go. I like that behind you there. That's good. Dennis, you're Zooming the whole afternoon here. Good to see you. And let's see who else we got on here. I might have missed. Here we go. Ilio?
Hey, I'm really happy to be here tonight.
I'm
I
glad you're
am a former exchange student from Brazil.
super. That's
Oh,
super.
Yes.
Well, you'll be speaking to us here in a moment. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Super. Joanne, how are you?
I am just fine. Thank you.
Good. And McKinley, I expect that you're probably a former exchange student.
Yeah. I went to Thailand.
Went to Thailand. Oh, wow. That must be a great experience.
That's your jacket. Your jacket looks pretty impressive.
Yeah. They collect a lot of pins and buttons when they
Look
go
at
around.
that. Holy cow.
They're superstars. They get weighted down with stuff. So it's all good. Yeah. Arthur, good to see you tonight.
Great. We've got a wonderful podcast tomorrow on the People Powered Planet with an incredible new book on an investigative journalist looking into creating a united world. I'll put it in the chat, the Zoom link, if you want to join us 10 a.m. tomorrow on the People Powered Planet podcast. And we've just been thrilled. So many TV and radio interviews about our movie. So
yeah, super.
Thanks, everybody. Great to see everyone.
Thanks, Arthur.
Thanks,
Martin, your hair is getting a lot longer, man. How are things?
Doing great.
Super. Thanks for joining us tonight. Dakota?
Hi, thanks for having us.
Good. And you did an exchange to where?
France.
France.
2016, 2017.
Oh, wow. That's great. Super. And Avon's on. We already spoke with Avon Madison. And Ya is on. Ya, how are you?
Doing wonderful.
Super. Super. So I don't think if I missed somebody, holler out loud here, but we got a nice team on tonight, and it's really exciting for our program tonight. Mary Jo is just coming in here, joining us as well. And this has been a kind of a, with tonight being 1 year since the George Floyd death, and then fragile peace happening over in Israel and Palestine. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and prayers there that continues and the tension begins to subside a bit. And we did see that hopefully there'll be positive talks between U.S. and Russia with, I see that Biden and Putin are going to be meeting soon, which we hope ramps down our nuclear threat to the planet here. And so we've got a lot of things happening out there that are affecting us across the United States, but also across the world, that we need to keep our thoughts around and positive thoughts on creating peace in the world. Well, tonight I'm very excited to have a close friend of mine join us tonight, and that's Dick Shaw. Dick grew up in the Pasadena area. He's a USC Trojan, and he's a retired stockbroker. I guess that's a good thing if you're retired. Maybe not, I don't know. And but he joined Rotary back in 1999, so he's been a Rotarian for 21, 22 years here. And he's in the Rotary Club of Big Bear Lake up here in the San Bernardino Mountains. He's a few thousand feet higher up than me. He gets a little more snow in the winter. And he did a year as our district Interact chair, 3 years as an assistant governor for our clubs up here in the mountain. So we had the Big Bear Lake clubs and Lake Arrowhead clubs, Crestline Lake Gregory, covered the kind of the mountaintop up here in this little area. But I think one of the most important things has probably changed the life of some young people who are online with us tonight, but also our Rotarian families who home hosted students and learned from students from other countries, as well as sending young people out from our own district abroad to learn and be with families. It's a tremendous program. Our Rotary Youth Exchange, I think, is probably second to none in our youth exchange program, any youth exchange program in the world, and that connection. And certainly it leads directly to peace as our families join together, with our young children join together in our families, creates peace like none other. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn this over tonight to Dick Shaw, and he brought with him several former exchange students tonight. And so let's have an enjoyable evening learning from each other. Thanks, Dick.
Thank you, Rudy. Thanks very much. Yeah, I was hoping to have as many as 5 or 6 former exchange students, but a lot of the people, the inbounds we call them, a lot of the inbounds to the US are from Europe, and it's in the middle of the night there. So a little tough to have some Europeans online for this time meeting.
Share champagne.
Yeah. Rudy started to say what I want to say. I mean, I think youth exchange, Rotary Youth Exchange, is probably the best kept secret in the whole Rotary world. You'd be surprised at how many Rotarians don't even know that Rotary does youth exchange. And yet we are the largest by far in the world. Rotary involves itself with over 8,000 exchanges every year. Keep in mind, they don't just necessarily involve the US. I mean, Brazil will send to England, Spain will send to Italy, etc. So they don't always involve the US, but ours is the largest by far. Of course, I think it's the best because you have Rotarians on both sides of the ocean looking out for the students and ensuring that the exchange is successful. It's also the cheapest by far, and I'll touch on that later. So let me briefly tell you about District 5330 and our involvement with ScanX. More and more Rotary districts worldwide are forming multi-district organizations to help facilitate the whole process. It's more and more complicated these days. The compliance issues become increasingly, the more and more compliance issues. So we are part of ScanX, Southern California, Arizona, Nevada Exchange. It also involves Utah and Hawaii, but nobody wanted to come up with another acronym. So a total of 9 Rotary districts, including the 6 in Southern California. So why do we do youth exchange? What's the whole point? Why do we do it? And there are a lot of reasons. And just to let you know, our own current RI president, Holger Knack, he and his wife don't have kids, but over the last 24 years, they have hosted, believe it or not, 43 exchange students. So that's got to tell you something. Somebody sees a lot of value in it. So why do we do it? Reasons. Students become better world citizens, and I know you're all interested in that part of it. They learn a new culture and language. When you attend school in a foreign country for an entire school year, you truly do become immersed in the culture. You truly do understand people from another country, and you become fluent in the language. One of the milestones that exchange students look forward to is dreaming in their host country's language. And they share the story. They're excited. Dick, I dreamt in French for the first time, so it's pretty special. They often become future Rotarians. That's another value. College applications. These days, we all know it's very tough to get into college. Everybody has stratospheric GPAs. They're all involved in extracurricular activities, but when you can tell your college that you'd like to go to, that you're an exchange student for an entire year, applications very often seem to float to the top. That is very special. That's unique. And it is truly a life-changing experience. The exchange students return home. They've matured many years beyond their age, and how they change surpasses anyone's imagination. And probably what's most important is to promote peace and understanding. We only fight with those that we don't understand. Carl Wilhelm Stenhammar, he was RI president in 05-06. He addressed the United Nations in November of 05. And he told them, and I quote, "If we could have every 17-year-old be an exchange student, we would have no more wars," end quote. Just like polio, one vaccination at a time, peace in the world, one teenager at a time. I am not suggesting that in my lifetime, we're going to be exchanging with Afghanistan, but in my grandkids' lifetime, who knows? So that's why we do it. How do we do it? And it might be unusual for an e-club to sponsor or to host an exchange student, but I'm sure there's a way to do it. And we'll figure that out together. How you do it, we don't have an exchange student program this year. We didn't have one last year, but we certainly plan on having one, not this coming school year that begins this September of 21, but the following school year. That may seem like a long time away, but to prepare for that school year, students who want to go on exchange in the 2022-23 school year, they should be starting to think about pursuing that activity and filling out applications probably around the start of school this year for the following school year. So August, September, October of this year is when kids should start thinking about, pursuing their dream of becoming exchange students. What you can do, if you know a qualified student between the ages of 15 and 18 and a half, that's the age that they need to be when they leave for exchange, between 15 and 18 and a half, do them a favor, tell them about this opportunity. Your club can become that student's sponsor, and that doesn't involve financial support. It basically says, okay, we know this kid, we've interviewed him or her. We think that they would make a good representative of the United States, a good representative of Rotary, and we think that they ought to go on exchange. And you know what? That's all you need to do. The rest is up to us. You give that person's name to us, and we do the rest. It would be nice if you invited that student to a meeting or two, easy to do since you meet online, so you get to know the student a little bit, but it's not required. All that's required is come up with a name and a brief interview to make sure that you think they would be a good exchange student, above average intelligence, a self-starter, self-motivator, et cetera. And that's all you need to do if you would like to sponsor the kid. The cost is up to the parents, the family of the student, and it is currently $5,500 a year. You get a lot for that. $5,500, you get to spend, the student gets to spend an entire school year in a foreign country. So you get the room and you get board and you get lots of trips. The Rotary Club, whatever country the student is going to take that student on a lot of trips, overnight trips, day trips. So you get a lot for that. You get changeable airfare, which of course is, they don't know exactly when they're going to come home. So it's changeable airfare. It's insurance. It covers 2 overnight orientations before they ever leave. The second one requires at least one parent to be there. So 2 overnight orientations, one of which will include at least one parent. That's all covered by the $5,500. And then you get, the student will get incidentals, the blue blazer that you see these kids wearing, most of them, notebooks, business cards, etc. And oh, by the way, the country, their host country, wherever they end up going, that also covers, they will be provided with $100 a month or the equivalency of stipend, just an allowance, mad money for them to spend however they choose, not to support their needs, but just to go have fun. So you get one heck of a lot for $5,500. Like I said, it's the cheapest by far of the programs out there because so much of the work is done by Rotarians. The other thing is you might want to host a student. If you send a student, it is not required. Some districts require that if you're going to send a student or sponsor a student, you have to agree to host. I've not implemented that requirement yet in 5330. It's not been necessary, but it is certainly hoped that you will host an exchange student. And if you agree to do that, then the financial commitment, like I said, is that $100 a month stipend. So probably about $1,000 in stipend, and then you'll end up wanting to spend a little bit more money than that. You'll need to find host families. RI recommends 3, anywhere from 1 to 4 is fine. And then you'll need to find a volunteer in your club that is that person's counselor, that student's counselor. If there's any problems at school with a host family, that's the go-to person. So that would be your obligation as a club. And of course, everybody that I've mentioned, the counselor, the host families, lots of applications, background checks, a brief visit to the home, all of that, which would be expected to be compliant. All right, I'm done talking for the time being anyway. I think it's time that we introduce the exchange students. What I've asked them to do is start out by saying the inbounds, outbounds, pretty self-explanatory. The inbounds, please say the following. Hello, I'm very happy to be with you this evening. The inbounds in your native languages, of course, the outbounds in the language of your host country. And when you're done doing that, then please go on and in English, state your name, country you're from or the country you went to, the year you went on exchange, your age, sponsor Rotary Club and host Rotary Club. See if you can remember all that. Jessica Martin, did you ever tune in?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry I was late.
Good. I'm glad you're here. So Jessica, let's start with you.
All right. Hola, me llamo, hola, es muy emocionado estar con vosotros hoy. So hello, my name is Jessica. I am currently 17 years old and I went on exchange in 2019 to 2020. I was in Barcelona, Spain at the Barcelona Rotary Club, and my sponsor club was, like the club here in America was Redland Sunrise Rotary. Did I forget anything?
I think that's good. Thank you. Elio.
Yeah, so, oi, gente, boa noite. É prazer estar com vocês aqui essa noite. Sorry. And I am a former exchange student from 2019, 2020. I'm from Brazil. My Rotary over here name is Cidade Pérola Rotary Club. And I went to USA, Southern California. And my host club was Marietta Rotary Club. And yeah, I think that's it.
Thanks, Elio. Rachel didn't make it, I don't believe. Rachel, are you here? No, she was a maybe. Dakota?
Bonsoir. Merci de nous recevoir. I'm Dakota. It's been a long time since I spoke any French. I was in Lyon, France, 1710. I'm from Temecula, California.
When did you go on exchange?
2016, 2017. A few years ago.
Thanks, Dakota. McKinley.
สวัสดีค่ะฉันมีความสุขมากที่ได้อยู่กับคุณในเย็นวันนี้ค่ะ My name is McKinley. I went to Thailand in 2018. And my host Rotary Club, or I'm 19 years old. My host Rotary Club there was the Rotary Club of Sukhothai, and my sponsor club is the Rotary Club of Big Bear Lake up here. And yeah, I come from the US. What was the other? Was there something I missed? I feel like I missed something.
No, I think you got it.
Sweet.
You. All right. Emmy.
Sorry about the dog on the background. So Inauni Nagode Kamone Anang. So I am Emmanuel Sunday, and I was an exchange student from 2015-2016 from District 9110, Nigeria, to District 5330 up here in Big Bear. And I'm currently 22 years old right now. So that was a while ago.
Thank you, Emmy. While you're on, could you tell the folks where you are now and why and what you're doing?
Oh, so yeah, I am currently studying in the US, but so after my exchange year, I went back home to Nigeria and got a student visa because I got accepted to come study in the US. And I came back about 4 years ago and got accepted to a community college up here. So I finished 2 years at a community college with an associate degrees in business. And I am currently completing my bachelor's degree in international business at California State University, San Bernardino. And I'll be graduating in the fall with my bachelor's degree.
Congratulations.
All right.
Thank you.
How many languages are you fluent in, Emmy? And how many languages are you fluent?
I used to be very fluent at about 7 languages, but now it's reduced to 5. So I wouldn't say the rest are fluent, but I am still fluent in Arabic, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Efik, and English. And the other 2 languages, Fulani and Ibibio, I'm not really fluent because I don't have a lot of people that I speak that with. So, but I used to be very fluent at 7, but now it's just 5.
All right, thanks, Emmy. Rudy, let me know when, we've got about 5 minutes left. I'm going to start asking him questions. And this is usually the best part. So we'll just take turns answering the questions in kind of a panel format. First question being, how did you become interested in youth exchange? Jessica, let's start with you.
So I can't remember when I first wanted to go on a youth exchange. I think it was because I have family that lives in Spain. So it always seemed interesting and fun. But I think the thing that got me interested in Rotary Youth Exchange was I had a lot of friends that went on exchange. And I also went to Pride, where I got to meet exchange students from the program. And that's definitely what kind of sparked it and got me asking around and looking into it.
Thank you, Jessica. Elio, how did you become interested in a youth exchange?
Yeah, at first I knew about youth exchange because a lot of friends older than me had already done it before. And when the opportunity came to me, like in Brazil, you don't choose where you go. So it's a little harder. And I only wanted to go in an English speaker country. So it was kind of hard to get USA. So we make a test over there and I got the USA and it was very fun. But anyways, I'm like going away from the question. But it's just because I really wanting to be fluent in English and because it was a great experience to learn a new culture and everything.
Thank you, Elio. Dakota, how did you become interested?
So my dad's actually part of Rotary, and we ended up hosting a girl from Spain. I think it was my sophomore year of high school. And then my junior year, there's a guy from Belgium, and I just kind of started showing him around. And we became best friends, and it was something I always kind of thought about doing, and he just convinced me to do it. So I ended up visiting him over there, and we're still friends to this day.
That's great. McKinley.
Yeah, I became interested in Rotary Exchange because I've hosted a few other exchange students my family has. And I became really good friends with them, and they were really cool people. And it just got me interested in it, and like I always wanted to learn a new language, and I was just like, wow, this all checks out. Yeah.
Thank you. And McKinley, not everybody gets their first choice. We try to make it happen in terms of what country they want to go to. But McKinley was one of the fortunate ones. She wanted to go to Thailand badly, and she got a choice. So that's great. Emmy, what about you? How did you become interested?
I got interested because of my aunt was also a Rotarian back in this is District 9110. But I first heard about it from a friend because Nigeria is only an outbound country. We are not able to accept students yet. So I had a friend so actually a couple of friends that went on exchange, and when they came back, they were just different. You could feel like they've added so much value into their life. So that was one of the things that triggered my whole interest, but also because my aunt also introduced me to the whole idea about becoming an exchange student, and it's been the best thing.
Great, thank you, Emmy. What stereotypes, true or false, did you have about your host country before going on exchange? So what stereotypes, true or false? Let's go the other direction. Emmy, why don't you start?
Stereotypes, back in Nigeria, when we watch American movies, we are impacted a lot by the American media. So we always see the guns a lot. I thought every American definitely has a gun. And I also thought that all American people are big in size. So that was a stereotype then, but it's false because when I first came here, my first host family, I lived with a track coach at the high school here in Big Bear, Coach Styles, and they were very athletic. And my current host family, or they still consider my host parents kind of, they are really, really active. So that's a wrong notion. And the guns one are also wrong, but Americans do like their outdoor activities. So that's good.
Okay, thanks, Emmy. McKinley, what about you? Going to Thailand, what stereotype did you have, true or false?
I don't really know if this is a stereotype, but I thought that all Thai people would be like very zen and like have like the Buddhist qualities and like be very like peaceful and stuff all the time. And I went there and everybody's jumping up and down and like giving off like super high energy and like it was not that zen energy that I expected, and it was very cool.
All right. Dakota.
The stereotype that was pretty popular was French people smoke, which is 100% true. All my friends there smoked from like 14, and then the older they got though, the more they stopped, which was kind of interesting. Like none of my host parents smoked. There was always a baguette with dinner. There was always wine with like every meal, aperitifs, everything.
But you didn't drink any of it, right?
No. But I'm just saying, like, it was always there. So French people love their food, their wine, their bread, stuff like that.
All right. Thanks, Dakota. Yo, stereotype you had of us.
Yeah, I think the biggest stereotype is that I was gonna eat fast food like every other day, but that's not actually a stereotype. Like it's kind of true, but not really, So we Americans do eat a lot of fast food, but not as much as I thought.
All right. Jessica.
I thought that siestas would be a much bigger thing when I went to Spain. Like, I don't know, I always like hear like Spain, all siestas. Every person I've met said like, oh, you're gonna have the siesta, you have to tell me how it is. And they didn't really do those. And then also I kind of went to expecting to eat a lot of meat and cheeses because you hear about like jamón serrano and all these Spanish foods. And I was correct. You could definitely go like a solid month only eating bread, meat, and cheese in Spain.
Strange. Okay. what was your best experience while on exchange? Jessica?
I love this. It's hard because there's so much good stuff that happened on exchange, but I think my favorite, like best experience would be the tour I did of Spain around the end of the year. I got to go from all kinds of places in Spain and with the other exchange students, and we just saw like structure after structure, and it was an amazing time.
Great, thank you. Ilio?
Yeah, so unfortunately, our train tour was canceled due to COVID, so I didn't have this opportunity. But I think like there's so many experiences that I would like to talk about. But I would say one of the best experiences was the day that we went snowboarding at Big Bear. So yeah, you were there, Dick. It was really fun. It was like a really great experience. It was with all the other exchanges from all over the world.
Great. What the kids at ScanX, all of the 9 districts, very often exchange programs, like Jessica mentioned, a train trip around Spain. We do the same thing over here. It's an optional trip. It's an added expense that the family needs to pay for. But over here, we do a month-long train trip, starting in LA, go north to, I think, all the way to Oregon, and then east, Great Lakes, Niagara Falls, New York, of course, and then they spend 4th of July in Boston, which of course is a treat, and then south to New Orleans, Washington, DC, of course, and then New Orleans and then back, but it's a whole month-long train trip. Where was I? Dakota.
Yeah, so like everyone said, there's so many great experiences through the whole year. It's hard to pick just one specific. For me, I'm a huge soccer fan. And so my host brother actually bought me and my other host brothers tickets to the French League Cup final. So we went to like a final game. It was against Paris and Monaco. And it was just one of the best things I've ever done. All the fans cheering and stuff.
Great. McKinley, best experience.
My best experience was either the ending trip that we all took together, or just kind of like the small things that I had at my second host family's house. Like we would like go on a drive on this road at like sunset, and it would be gorgeous, and you would see all the rice fields and like all of the cows and everything, and it was just gorgeous.
Great.
Sticks with me.
Emmy, best experience?
My best experience, even though there's many of them, but would definitely also be part of the train trip. As you said, we started all the way from LA. It was a long month, and then I got to spend time with all the exchange students included in the ScanX program. So that was definitely the best experience.
Okay, great. Let's take a moment. Those who have the blue blazers on, can you just stand up and turn around and so we can get a better view? Very cool. Thank you.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
They're pin collectors. So.
Yeah. And what's great is so many people have been involved with Rotary Youth Exchange. You wander around in the airport with one of those on, you're going to get help from somebody. They're going to come up and want to help you.
Probably security.
Yeah. All right. What was your most embarrassing moment? Emmy. So many, right?
Well, yeah, of course, it's the whole language thing about in Nigeria, because we speak more of the England English, or the Queen's English as we call it. Some things are some words are different, like pants. We call the pants trousers or jeans, regular jeans. So when I first came here to my host parents, and my host mom was like, "Oh, that's some cool pants you had." And I was like, whoa, can you see my underwear? That's what I thought. I was kind of like the whole thing, but it wasn't. And then another one was, it wasn't for me. It was a lot of people asking questions a lot. Do you guys drive elephants? Is that cars in Nigeria? I was like, okay, that's a little bit. But it was more of like interesting questions.
Okay, thank you. McKelly, what was your most embarrassing moment?
I think probably one of the more embarrassing moments was on my first day of school, or no, not on my first day of school, like a week into my school, I started learning a Thai song, and like I learned like a few verses of the song, and then they made me, during the end assembly, they made me stand up in front of the entire school and sing the songs to them. No like music or anything, just me singing to the entire school. And it was really embarrassing because I couldn't pronounce everything right. And yeah, it was just a mess.
Okay, Dakota.
For me, it was a language thing. It was probably like my first month in, and one of my teachers gave me an assignment to like write about myself and present it to the class. I'm not going to say what I said, but I did not say it the right way, and the whole class was just dying of laughter. And one of my friends spoke English in there, and he told me what I said in French. It was not good.
Was it sexual?
Maybe on accident, yeah.
Yeah, that's often the case. Where am I? Elio.
So I could say, like, could be hours talking about embarrassing moments during the exchange, but I'm gonna say just one. So I'm like at the third day of school, and I had this one class. It was English class, college English, and it was like in a room that was like really far from the school, and I couldn't get there. So I'm just like, the break was over, and like everybody else was in the classes, and I'm like lost at school. So I'm just like stopping somebody that worked at school and like asking where the class were, but I couldn't understand very much because I'm already kind of nervous. And it was like my first days in the US. So I'm like walking around the school for like 30 minutes, and then I get like super late from the class and I need to get a pass. So I'm like going back and forth in the class and like just feeling awkward, you know. It was like really embarrassing moment.
Okay. Jessica?
Again, it's kind of hard to choose because there's so many. But I think one of my most embarrassing moments was I lived with a family that was actually French while I was in Spain. So they would speak French around me. And one of my host siblings liked to teach me just random words. And at one point, I was with the family sitting down. They had a guest over that was speaking French. And they asked me, "Oh, Jessica, let's see what French you've learned." And earlier, a few days before, I had heard my host brother say something in like a funny circumstance. And I was like, oh, that's a funny thing that he said. So I was saying the simple words like hello, have a nice day. And I thought, oh, I'll say this funny word. And apparently out of context, it meant something really bad. So I said it with this big smile face, and they all looked at me, and I just was, I didn't know what, I was like, what I do? And they're like, and then my host parents turned to me like, Jessica, who taught you that? Did our kids teach you that? And it was a very funny situation once it all got explained, but I have that seared into my mind.
Thanks, Jessica. Rudy, how much time you want me to take?
Well, we could do a couple of questions we got from the audience, if this is okay, from our members.
Well, let me ask them one more question, if I may.
Okay, that'd be great.
Which would be, folks, what was your biggest, how did you change the most? What was your biggest takeaway from your exchange experience? Jessica.
I think I got much more mature. Like I learned kind of how to do things on my own more often, because I kind of went from having to rely on my parents and having them do things to having to organize things myself and manage my own travel documents. And I got a much more responsible and mature overall.
Thanks, Jessica. Elio?
Yeah, I think the same way, like the maturity level that you reach, and during the exchange year is like absolutely, like you can't even compare the way that you went from your country. So you like come back like a completely different person, because like we started a new life like from scratch, like everything from zero. And this ability is like you receive, like you conquest like a ability to adapt from everything, and like you come back with good English too. So it was like a really great experience, and then I love it to do it. I would do it like if I had the opportunity again and again, over and over.
Thanks, Julio. Dakota.
So of course, maturity and changing that way, it's already been mentioned a few times. So I'm gonna add on to, my district had 56 students from all over the world, and I became best friends with most of them. And so just the ability to be able to talk to people from different places and understand what's happening in that country and have connections instead of it being such a foreign place. I now relate like, oh, my friend's there. So you have a more world experience.
Thanks, Dakota. McKinley, the biggest takeaway, biggest gain?
I think for me, it was kind of just gaining more confidence and groundedness in myself, and kind of like trusting myself and being a little bit more independent, and just being able to like feel like I got this. Like with whatever life throws at me, like I can handle it, because I spent a year in Thailand without knowing the freaking language. So I feel like I feel unstoppable.
Wow, thank you. Emmy.
I feel like everybody's already said what I wanted to say. So it's just a combination of everything, you know, finding that self-confidence, growing, and like Dakota also mentioned, having a lot of, you're basically like a world ambassador, because every time you've made connections with and friendship that will last you a long time with people all over the world. Like I remember when I was here in Big Bear, we had exchange students from France, Slovakia. So anytime you just want to go visit there, you can always call them, oh, I'm coming over here, and you always have a place to stay, and you're always welcome in that country. So you feel like the world is your home. That's basically how it is.
Thank you, Emmy. All right, Rudy.
Yeah, so Emmy, you were over here in our district when I was governor.
Yes.
And you are, we should have you up to our house in Crestline here soon. So let's connect.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Come up the hill here and join us. David Wick had a question, and I think Dick had kind of touched on it earlier on, was are any of you planning on either joining Rotaract or at some point in your life becoming a Rotarian?
I can answer this. So when I was attending crafting at Yucaipa, I was still involved with the Rotary Club in Yucaipa. And in fact, I am still involved with the Rotary Club in Yucaipa. In fact, 2 weeks ago, they had a little kind of a concert, opening concert, since they've not had a concert since the COVID began. So I helped them out, and I'm now considered a full-time member there. So I am still keeping in touch with the Rotary Club, and hopefully one day I contribute full-time to being a Rotarian.
Any of the other students?
Right now I'm part of Rotaract, and then in the future I'd hopefully like to be part of Rotary a little bit more. But right now I'm in school, so I'm trying to work on that stuff.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, at the moment I'm about to go into college, and like, so I'm gonna work on myself at the moment, but definitely in the future I think I would probably get more involved with the Rotary Club. And I mean, I'm already kind of involved because I like to be involved with the Interact Club at my school, and so yeah.
Anybody else? Barbara, I think you had a question.
I did. Do all of the exchange students have a train trip at the end? Is that kind of a normal procedure?
It's fairly common. I can't say all of them have a train trip, It so happens that a lot of the students who go to Europe, that's the norm. People that come to ScanX, the 9 districts and that I described earlier, we do a train trip a month long. Other districts in the US, I actually don't know for sure what they do. There is usually an optional trip. I don't know what percentage are trained.
We had an exchange student. I live in Santa Barbara, California. And when he came back from that train trip, he was like a different person. He was like an ambassador because he had met so many different people and they were so bonded, the group of students that went on that train trip. They didn't even want to say goodbye. I had to pull him away to get him in the car to get him home. They just became so in love with each other, in love with experience, and they were so different. When we first got him, he was kind of shy. At the end, he was kissing everybody. So I guess they become mature and happy.
I know Arthur had a question out there about, do you feel more connected across the world and more as a world citizen than so much connected just separately with your own home country?
Definitely, yes. As we said, it's a whole different feeling when there's a lot of things. You grew up in a culture, it's all different, and then you are exposed to a whole total different culture and you start thinking outside of the box. Maybe there's some things that you used to believe that wasn't true, and there's some things that you just take the best out of everything, and then you feel more connected because you are now familiar with the people and with the culture, and that way you just feel more comfortable and more connected.
Any other students?
It's amazing how you guys are so, I don't know, equipped to talk about your experience. I want to thank you for that. This has been one of our best programs. Thank you.
Julie Boswell, you got your hand up there. Unmute yourself, Julie.
Sorry, I was an exchange student. I may be the oldest former exchange student in this room, and it did my heart so much good to see you. I was so excited. I was like, my people, my exchange student people. But I am a Rotarian, so it is possible to go from exchange student to Rotarian, and you will love it.
This is
when
super.
You get time.
Yeah, this is super. Mark Harbison, you've been a youth exchange chair for your district, I believe. Can you unmute yourself there? Mark Harbison, unmute yourself, please.
Actually, I was not the youth exchange officer. I was country coordinator for Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. And I think Melody ended up taking over those countries, but we had exchanges with District 2750 in Japan and District 2650. That was Tokyo and Kyoto. And one of the most interesting things was dealing with youth exchange officers in the various countries I was dealing with. And then if you're involved in youth exchange, you get to go to the youth exchange pre-convention at the Rotary conventions, and that is a trip because you get to meet all the youth exchange officers and hear all the stories and all the I mean, these people are angels. They deserve so much credit and so much gratitude from the rest of us for the work they do. And they do a tremendous amount of work, especially coordinating homestays and dealing with students when they're, with their host families. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And
there was a question, Dick. Someone wanted to know if a family can't afford to send their son or daughter, are there ways to help supplement that cost?
Yeah, sometimes. Once in a while, excuse me, once in a while that the sponsor club will want to kick in some money, but excuse me again. No way is it expected. It really is an expense that's supposed to be borne by the families. However, there are sometimes some scholarship funds available You know, the different YEOs for the different districts, sometimes they get a budget from, you know, a district budget, and sometimes they don't. You know, it just depends on the district governor and what the norm is. 5330 has always given me a budget. Also, ScanX, we build up a budget there. Part of the fees that they pay, the $5,500, part of that, a small part, $200 per outbound students goes into a fund. And I've used that before to help a family that couldn't afford the entire $5,500. So the answer is yes, there's a way, but it varies. There's no standard remedy.
Yeah, our club is developing a relationship with St. Petersburg and Vladivostok in Russia Rotary clubs. We might be interested in the future. Have we had exchanges from Russia to our district?
We have. It's uncommon. We haven't done it since I took over as YEO, and that was about 7 years ago. So we've not done it since I've been around. ScanX hasn't done it in a while, but I know it's been done in the past.
Okay, that might be something we would want to discuss in the future here.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you, Rudy, for recording this, because Dick, I can see you using this as a tool to help others understand the value of this exchange. It is fantastic. To listen to these exchange students was just brought back all of my feeling. Our exchange student was from Belgium, and he was just so precious. We learned so much from him, as much as he learned from us. And to hear these students, I just fell in love with each of them. They're all fabulous. I could take you home and keep you. You're just wonderful people.
Barbara, you brought up a good point. The host families benefit, you know, a lot as well. I won't say as much as the students, but they benefit greatly from hosting a student for, you know, whatever, 3 months out of the year, whatever it might be, or for the entire year. That happens too. So yeah, it's the only winner here is not just the student, you know. And you're right about these kids. They're cream of the crop. And if they were, you know, you've got to be above average in certain categories before you ever go on exchange. I mean, just the desire to do this, you know, when you're at high school, you got your friends and you're leaving them all behind for an entire school year. Just, you know, the desire and willingness to do that speaks volumes in the first place. And then what they gain from going on exchange, it just elevates them even further. You know, I wish I could have had some of the kids from Europe. It's just too much in the middle of the night. You know, there's not a lot of silver lining to COVID, but one silver lining is, I mean, I've done this in person at clubs before, and I've had the current exchange students with me. But the Zoom meetings, you know, I've been on meetings where there's students from all over the world. You're talking to them while they're in Italy, France, Belgium, Denmark, whatever. We got Ilya with us, who's speaking to us from Brazil, but that's the only foreign country that's represented today, except for Emmy, but he's not in Nigeria, obviously, he's here. So it's great, it's fun.
Good job. You did a wonderful job of bringing it into reality for us. Thank you so much. It looks
You're
like
welcome.
you're having fun too.
What's that?
I said, it looks like you're having some fun too.
I love these kids, they know that.
Yeah, you're like a grandpa. You're not you're old enough to be a grandpa. You're their dad.
Grandfather, trust me.
Oh, okay. But anyway, it was just an amazing experience for us as much as it was for them. Thank you all for giving up your hour to tell us what it was like. Exchange students are the cream of the crop, and you are proved it again. Thank you so much. Rudy, your turn.
Okay, we'll just wrap this up. Martin, are you still on? Well, if Martin mentioned next week, the Peace Fellows Cyber Peace Conference coming up June 19th. Please mark your calendar and join in with that conference. This will be the 32nd year in a row of putting on a peace conference 24 hours around the clock around the whole world. And so we're excited that they're doing this again. And Martin in our club is one of the one of the Peace Fellows that's helping organize this event.
Well, that was great, Rudy. Thank you for bringing him together, all of them. All right, my friends, remember that peace begins with each of us and it starts with the conversation. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank
See you
very
next
much.
week.
Night, thank you so much.
Thanks, Dick. Thanks, all the Peace Fellows.
Thank you. It was terrific. All those young people.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having us.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks, kids.
Thank you. Emmy, I left my number in the chat box there. Give me a call when you get a second. Thank you.